So in a space like wrestling, it's no surprise that there are sometimes people with like big egos or, you know, they see themselves in a way that make them kind of difficult to work with, or they're not really the most how do I put this? They don't work well with others. Well, we've got a video that is 10 WWE wrestlers who were extremely difficult to work with. That's right. Me and the flock are hanging out on Twitch. We're checking this video out. If you want to react to content with us live on Twitch, you know where to find that link. It'll be at the bottom of the description. Also, you can support the original creator of the content by clicking the top link and showing them some love. They put in all the work to make this video. I'm just over here mooching. You gotta understand. I'm honest, right? Look at me. I'm being the team player. Young ones, get out of here. I do not react to content with young ones / little ones because you guys are not supposed to hear the dangerous things I say. That being said, I'm getting right into the video. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
Why, Elizabeth? Because you can't beat me. You're wrong. No, you can't. Man, don't touch me.
10 WWE wrestlers who were
Man. The day, all right. quick, let me gauge you guys' temperature. Because he got into it. He got into it. But then was feeding. Yo, what's your reaction? What's your reaction? This funk body straight up gripping your. This is gripping you by the shop mid conversation. Is that hands? Is that like immediate cause for hands? Yo, that. What? Hogan was like, don't touch me. Do not touch me.
No, you can't. Man, don't touch me.
10 WWE wrestlers who were extremely difficult to work with. Number 10, The Cat. The Cat had various roles during the WWE Attitude Era, and a final role in the company saw her enter into a feud with Right to Censor. Unfortunately for Cat and her fans, the angle was abruptly dropped when she was fired from the company. It was reported that The Cat was extremely difficult to work with backstage, and the creative team had done nothing but complain about how much of a nightmare she really was. Now, the Cat wasn't exactly a main eventer, and she was in no position to be making life difficult for anyone. The Cat's firing led to her real-life husband Jerry the King Lawler walking out of the WWE for what he claims was an unjust firing. However, with the WWE never bringing the Cat into the mix in any capacity, it certainly gives merit to the claims of her backstage problems. Number 9, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Being the top guy in wrestling allows a certain amount of power and sway, and for Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was prone to questioning every booking call and questioning every creative choice that was being made about his character. Whilst this may just sound like a wrestler who just cares about their body of work, Austin eventually became hard to deal with backstage, and even his close friend Jim Ross believes so. JR discussed Austin's attitude backstage during an episode of Grillin' JR.
I learned a long time ago you keep your top guys happy, and that was very important in my role. And who was the bigger top guy than Stone Cold? And so I did go out of my way to. And Steve was not an easy manage. He was challenging because I mean, even to me, you know, he'd question the booking at times and so forth.
He also went on to share a story of Austin not wanting to work with Mark Mero.
I remember once. He had the same issue with Mark Mero. He didn't want to work with Mark Mero. He didn't think Mark Mero was up to speed, and Steve wasn't ready in that time of his career to make guys in that respect. He wanted them made before he got them, so they could go out and have a good match and tell a good story.
You know what? I think that's I'm usually all for like the camaraderie and shit, but I think that's a valid mindset to have as like a top guy. Like I guess only they would know who is, you know, who's ready. Yeah, I think only they would know who's ready to like be, you know, given that rub or like, you know, that light, like, oh yeah, we can let this dude go toe to toe with our top guy for a little bit. Cause if you go out there with someone who's like really green and you can't carry, that'll definitely be like a stain on your whole fucking resume, right? Like, it's like, well, maybe the guy that we're looking at ain't that good. Maybe he can't put on cool matches with everybody. It's one of those weird things where it's like, I get it. I'm definitely like leaning more towards like, yeah, I don't know if you're ready to hang with the big dog, sir. Like, sit back. You gotta get some more reps in. You gotta pay more dues. I get it.
There were countless incidents of Austin acting in this manner, and the year 2002 was an infamous year for him, as it saw him butt heads with WWE Creative on more than one occasion. Number 8. Buff Bagwell. When a wrestler debuts in a new promotion, it's vital that they make a great first impression. When it came to Buff Bagwell, who joined WWE following the WCW buyout of 2001, he did everything imaginable wrong. Bagwell came into the company with a massive attitude problem, and his behavior made everyone from the WWE staff members to the actual talent completely resent him. Bagwell was late to shows without showing any remorse, and he was even faking injuries.
Honestly, okay, I think it's fair for me to say this. This is me being your ghost friend right here, right? If your mustache looks like this, like only this, like you have chosen to do this with your facial hair, you have given up the right to show up late to anything. Because this is disrespectful. Your face is disrespectful. Your face is disrespectful. If this is what you chose it to do, you've got this and like the little nasty soul patch. Yeah, you're disrespectful. You better be there 15 minutes early. What is that?
Major no-no in the world of wrestling. In the space of a few short months, Bagwell had alienated himself from the entire locker room thanks to his own malicious actions, and it was hardly a surprise that WWE cut ties with him indefinitely only after 2 matches in the company. Number 7. The Miz. The Miz deserves a ton of credit for always being 100% authentic. When he first arrived in WWE, his bold and brash personality caught the locker room off guard, and this instantly led to problems. The Miz stood out when compared to the rest of the wrestlers, and his personality was interpreted as being cocky, and due to The Miz being a complete rookie, wrestlers and WWE staff members questioned what The Miz had to be cocky about. The Miz was pretty much hated by all the top guys in the company, and he was even at one stage kicked out of the locker room. The Miz worked endlessly though to change this perception around. He showed the world that he genuinely cared about pro wrestling and that he was going to be easy to work with in all areas. Additionally, over time, it became apparent that The Miz's personality that so many had issues with was his genuine personality. That's who he was, and that's who he is still to this very day. Ultimately, The Miz went from the most hated man backstage to one of the most favored. The Miz in today's WWE locker room is one of the most celebrated and beloved names around, and it's hard to find a single wrestler that has a negative word to say about him, and for good reason. Number 6.
It's actually good that he turned that around. I kind of want to go back and watch The Real World, like a clip or something, just to see what like that doofy young Miz was like before getting into the WWE. That might be fun. I'm a reality TV head though. I don't want to drag you guys into that with me. I'll admit I have my moments. I give in to the the temptations of reality TV. I know it's fake, guys, but I like it. I know it's predetermined, guys, but I like it. Undertaker was the one that let the Miz back in the locker room. I would respect Undertaker's word too. That's definitely locker room leader. That's Mr. General right there. Like, oh, if he says so, I can't bully you no more. Just know, you're still like a bullyable frog, Miz. You have a very punchable face. But we love the Miz around here.
Sable. Wrestlers having an issue with dropping their respective title isn't anything new. However, when asked to drop the title to a name that helped make you relevant, then it's definitely an issue. Sable was one of the hottest stars in pro wrestling in the late 90s, and she was easily the most popular name in the women's division. The problem was that Sable couldn't wrestle, as she could barely take any bumps, and every single match that she was involved in was met with overwhelmingly negative reviews. The only
Sable, she was definitely carrying for a while, just like off the visuals alone. Man. Nah. This Sable had them things. Dang it. She's goals. I'll just say she's goals.
The reason that Sable was even able to step foot in the ring was due to the iconic Luna Vachon, who had a hand in training her. But Sable was detested backstage by the locker room. She was hard to deal with, and the WWE creative team would have a tough task working with her, and she would even refuse to drop the title to Vachon in 1999. This resentment mainly came from the superiority complex that Sable had, and this was a complex that wasn't remotely justified. This would anger wrestlers and writers backstage in today's wrestling, so it's easy to imagine just how hostile everyone's behavior was towards her during the wild days of the Attitude Era. Number 5. The Ultimate Warrior. During his various WWE runs, the Ultimate Warrior acquired a rotten
yeah,
reputation
I heard he was
backstage, and this
definitely a jerk.
reputation stated that he was selfish, hard to deal with, and some would say an egomaniac. Warrior liked to operate by his own rules, and he rarely connected with wrestlers or key members of the creative team, and this often resulted in significant problems backstage. There are endless stories of Warrior's behavior backstage being shared publicly, but one rare story is from 1996. Warrior returned at WrestleMania 12 to take on Triple H, who was using his Hunter Hearst Helmsley persona at the time. The idea behind the match was a competitive match that would showcase both men. However, on the day of the show, Warrior cancelled the idea and decided that he wanted to squash the future head of creative. WWE executive Bruce Pritchard would share this story on his podcast.
It was never meant to be the short match that it became. Warrior changed it that day. I think Jerry Briscoe was the agent, and Warrior was like, no, this is the match we're going to do. And went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And at that point, it's get the match in the ring. And Hunter was a pro and was like, let's just go do what we got to do and move on, and we'll deal with all the other shit afterwards.
The WWE had so many names willing to talk negatively about their experiences with Warrior backstage that in 2005, they released a hit piece documentary focused on his bad behavior. The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior was the title of the documentary. However,
The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior? We might have to watch that on some hater shit, guys. Might have to watch that on some hater shit, just to hate. That's crazy that they really were like, yo, fuck this guy. They def said, you know what we could do right now? I think the views are down a little bit. Let's talk about the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck him. That's crazy.
due to the WWE and Warrior making amends in his final years, the documentary is very hard to find. Number 4. Triple H. Triple H is currently the head of WWE Creative, yet during his time as a full-time wrestler, he made a lot of enemies backstage. Triple H didn't conduct himself in the best manner, and he was often prone to using his power to manipulate WWE Creative into his set vision. This became hard for those backstage as Triple H started to be seen as a selfish man who was only trying to make himself look good. During the 2000s, it's believed that Triple H impacted the pushes of both Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy. This type of behavior would have naturally made the WWE creative department's job difficult, as they couldn't exactly argue with the chairman's son-in-law. Thankfully, the game managed to break away from this kind of behavior in his later years, and the Triple H that currently leads WWE couldn't be more different. Number 3. Enzo Amore. Now, it took a matter of months from Enzo Amore.
I definitely remember hearing stories of Enzo being an absolute cock backstage. This dude had charisma on the mic though, man. Undeniable charisma on the mic, but you hate to hear like someone being like an ass backstage and also like a creep. Like, I'm pretty sure I heard bro is definitely a creep. On fucking 4.
For his main roster debut for reports to surface relating to his behavior. The main roster crew hadn't exactly become members of the Amore fan club since they began to work with him, and his behavior was rubbing everyone backstage the wrong way. It got so severe that in 2017, Roman Reigns had to legitimately kick Amore off the tour bus. This type of thing never...
What the fuck did you do for Roman to be like, yo, get out? I will beat your ass, get out. Yeah, I feel like it's unspoken that the Samoans definitely get like a bonus boost in voting power as well. So like, if there's like 15 people on there and 2 Samoans are among the 15, and the 2 Samoans say you gotta leave, you gotta leave. You definitely gotta go.
happens in modern wrestling, so it spoke volumes in relation to how Amore was acting backstage. It was even claimed that Neville refused to lose to Amore on Raw, and this led to Neville walking out of the company and for him to never return. Simply put, Amore's antics and behavior towards people backstage made him impossible to work with. Number 2. Randy Orton. Now, in recent years, Randy Orton has emerged as a locker room leader and someone that the modern day wrestlers can look up to, but that wasn't always the case. As
I know everyone adores Randy now.
Orton used to be a living nightmare.
To be fair though, Randy with just the tribal tattoos in like the early 2000s is like, that's grounds for there to be fuckery, right? Like, that's definitely grounds for there to be fuckery. This man is definitely bugging out.
In the locker room. Orton had vast anger issues and he was said to be awful to deal with both from a management and talent perspective. Orton would often use his standing in the company to damage people's careers. Orton would be heavily involved in the WWE release of Mr. Kennedy, and who can ever forget when Orton managed to get Kofi Kingston's major WWE push cancelled in 2010. Unlike a lot of names who weren't exactly beacons of light in the backstage area,
Yeah,
Orton
Randy is
admitted that he
definitely
made
having fun
mistakes in
now.
the past, and his
He's
personal
doing
development
side
over the
quests at
past
this point.
decade needs to be acknowledged. And number 1, Shawn Michaels. It's been public knowledge for years that Shawn Michaels was public enemy number 1 backstage in the 90s. Outside of HBK's close friends, he was loathed by other talent.
Yo, I almost paused and almost got Shawn Michaels' ass cracked. Just offensive on screen. That was crazy. I'm surprised the Hulk Hogan wasn't on this list. That we pretended that Hulk Hogan was like, you know, we just pretended Hulk Hogan was chill. But yeah, I definitely did hear that Shawn was like, you know, super cock backstage. My man was definitely a diva, a demonic diva man. But before, you know, changing his ways, giving himself to Christ.
Than anyone who worked backstage. HBK walked into the backstage area every week with an attitude, and he didn't care who he had to step on to stay on top.
It was
An
terrible
example
seeing
of how
him treat
HBK
Vader
acted
the
during
way
the
he did
90s can
too.
be
I
seen
didn't
with the
like that.
verified story of One Night Only. The initial plan was to see Bulldog defeat HBK in the UK, but HBK managed to gaslight and manipulate Vince McMahon into changing the finish. Also, all you need to see is that Sunny interview, and you knew that HBK had some power backstage. Now, HBK didn't even need to win the match, and there was no benefit from him winning. He simply just didn't want to put over another talent. And in 1998, when HBK was set to retire, WWE planned for him to lose the WWE title to Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania. Due to HBK's abysmal reputation backstage, there was legitimate and justified concern that HBK wasn't going to refuse to lose. Thankfully, he went through with the planned finish, but he didn't exactly look happy doing the honors. However, when he returned in 2002, the old habits had magically disappeared, and 2002 HBK was a stark contrast to the HBK of the 90s. But there you have it, folks, 10 WWE wrestlers who were extremely difficult to work with. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
This was a pretty tight video. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't hear much about Hogan throwing his politicking around, his rank around backstage. But you guys know the deal. If you like to support the original creator of the content, go ahead and click that top link in the description. If you want to hang out with me in the flock over on Twitch, you know where to find that link. I'm gotta tell you, we got bonus content over on Patreon that I can't post on YouTube. No, you will not see ghost titties there, I promise. We're not that kind of channel. If you got any stories of people who are like absolute dicks to work with backstage, let me know in the comments. I know you guys know more trivia than the top 10 lists would be able to throw in there, and I like learning shit. I'm absorbing shit. I'm here. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video if we both make it there. I know I'm gonna be there. Are you gonna be there? Can you promise that? Don't make no promises you can't keep. See, you're making it weird now.